Hello. Today we're looking at the principal community route C4 that goes from Conder in the south, going through the population centres in the southern suburbs on the way to the city. This route is over 30 kilometres long, so we have divided it into two parts, and this video is the second part. As usual, this map was developed from the ACT Active Travel Planning Tool. We will be following the blue route from Woden in the centre of the map to the city at the top of the map, including a look at the light rail construction just north of Commonwealth Bridge. We will also talk about how this route connects with other routes on the way through. This route is mostly fast with good wayfinding signage and modest slopes. This footage has been recorded at nearly double speed for efficiencies in time use. If you wish to see the video at a credible rate, please set it to half speed in your YouTube settings. Okay then, let's get started. We're going to start a few seconds back, going through the green space immediately south of Woden, south of Hindmarsh Drive, along the floodplain with what is euphemistically known as Yarralumla Creek in a concrete trench out down to the left. Once we go on to Hindmarsh Drive, which is coming up now, we'll be in the urban area of Woden for a minute or two as we go galloping through. It goes right through the middle of Woden. You've got accommodation off to the right at the moment. We're approaching now Wilbow Street, which is, you need to slow down here because although there's a zebra crossing, there's a lot of traffic for the cars and motor vehicles, and they sometimes don't spot or even look out for bikes. So do slow down, be ready to dodge for them. In the week before this was filmed, there'd been a flash flood along this creek and there was some damage to the infrastructure, and we'll see that as we move along. These are side paths going out to what goes on either side. We're 2/3 of the way through Woden now, turning sharp left to cross Yarralumla Creek and continue on the other side. Very large new high-rise buildings went up just before the start of COVID on the left. This area was largely flooded during the flash flood. There's a bit of damage to this path, which was raised and damaged. This bit here is very, very bumpy. Hopefully that'll be repaired soon. We'll see some other bits very soon where there's a lot more damage happened a bit further downstream ahead of here as we go along. We'll be running parallel to Yarralumla Creek. And this path comes up from the left behind us and continues all the way north for a couple of kilometres. Suburb of Curtin is up to the left. Just further back, there is a bridge that goes out to the right for cyclists who want to use the main dual carriageway, Yarra Glen and Adelaide Avenue, to go up to the city. There is a hard shoulder all the way along for people who are prepared to take that kind of route. It's okay. You just got to be able to cope with very fast vehicles approaching from behind using slip roads. There is some damage going up on the right, you can see along the creek. And we're going to go up ahead here. If you go right there, you can take a main road and that will take you directly up to Scrivener Dam. It's a good alternative route. It takes about 2 minutes longer to get to the north side of the city compared to this route, which is the actual C1. That damage you can see on the right, that is where the concrete at the bottom of Yarralumla Creek was just ripped up a couple of weeks ago. We're crossing over Yarra Glen now on Carruthers Street, and then we'll be turning left. The bits we've just gone over in a few years' time will be part of the light rail that will go all the way down to Woden and beyond. Okay, we're now on the west side of Yarra Glen, which you can see on the left. And soon we'll be going past a large green area of sports grounds and such like. I'm now running parallel to Yarra Glen, the major route between the Parliamentary Triangle and Woden. The big building in ahead and right is the Royal Australian Mint. And in the middle of Yarra Glen on our left, sometime in a good few years' time, there will be a light rail going down there. Just beyond the Mint, there's a large medical area, lots of private hospitals and specialist facilities off to the right. And the bridge we can see coming towards us, that heads off southwest. We're heading north. That takes us out to Western Creek if you want to go further left. But beyond that slip road by a few hundred metres, there's a bridge that goes over the top of Yarra Glen and goes to the north and west side, and we'll be crossing over the bridge at that point. Once we turn left, we're going through Yarralumla itself. Very pretty route, it's not that fast. There are alternative routes if you want to get into the city faster. If you're prepared to take the hard shoulder on Yarra Glen when it becomes Adelaide Avenue for a short distance, it's a far shorter route, which a fair few people do. We'll discuss that as we turn left and go over the bridge in the near future. We're coming up to Kent Street. On the right is the big medical area, and on the left, which is what we're doing here, we'll go over what is still Yarra Glen and head toward Yarralumla, which is a posh, very nice suburbs squeezed between Adelaide Avenue and Lake Burley-Griffin ahead. We've gone over the bridge. If you want to turn right, you can go down the slip road and go all the way through from here to the next slip road and go catch up with Flynn Drive a bit later. Alternatively, just a couple of hundred metres before you go on to Yarra Glen proper, there is a path that heads off left and joins up again with this particular path. It's a good alternative if you want to do that. So you can see the road on the right, and there's a slip road coming in from the right, and you join up here as we head off left north through a floodplain that wiggles its way through this very attractive area and heads north up to the south coast edge, wet bit of Lake Burley-Griffin in about a kilometre. This is in good shape. We'll be going across roads very fast. It looks a bit scary, but the sight lines are very good, so you can see in plenty of time to see if it's safe to continue at speed. The second junction here is at the end of a cul-de-sac. Should just do a left-right wiggle to go around the end of the cul-de-sac and carry on. So you've got social area of living area of the Yarralumla is off to our left. There's some playgrounds, and then the diplomatic area is off to the right a bit more. And soon we're coming up to the south edge of Lake Burley-Griffin. You can see Black Mountain ahead, which is on the north side of Lake Burley-Griffin. And we shall be turning sharp right. And if you've been looking at the routes around Lake Burley-Griffin, this is the opposite direction going around the Lake Burley-Griffin west video. This is already posted. And we shall follow the wiggly route through, because it's pretty and pleasant. What is good about this particular path, it's not that steep and the sight lines are good enough that you can maintain a good speed all the way along here. It's been very well designed. There are also fitness machines along here if you want to do your lift-ups or pull-ups or whatever uppy-up things you like to do. You can do that as well along here for the fit people who want to get even fitter. I wouldn't know. Drinking fountains. What else do you want? Nothing else much else to say here. I'm just enjoying the scenery. We're coming across Mariner Place, which services the Southern Cross Yacht Club. There's a dinghy club about 2 or 3 kilometres further west. This area is for larger sailing vessels. Very good social vibe there, very pleasant. Now, if you elected to join Adelaide Avenue, where we crossed over the bridge at Kent Street, you can slip off left and rejoin this route at the roundabout coming up in a minute on Flynn Drive, which comes in off Adelaide Avenue. This is the normal route for bikes to get off Adelaide Avenue and head north. So you would come in from the right at this roundabout, gallop across the roundabout and go and continue and follow this route from here. Again, this is part of the opposite direction to the Lake Burley Griffin West Circuit, which is on YouTube already. This time, as we're heading north, we're going to, because there's lots of roadworks, we will have to enter. The only way to get across Commonwealth Avenue Bridge is to use the east side foot and cycle path, which we shall do. But from the bottom on the far end, we're just going to turn right and follow the dual carriageway north and see how well push bikes are being cared for by the engineering works and the big building work that is going on at the moment. People have noticed that basically bike riders are simply not complaining about the roadworks because they're very little to complain about because we're hardly being slowed down at all. We're being cared for better than any other mode of transport by quite a lot. The only difference is we could have gone up the other side, the west hand side, but that ain't happening. But once we get over and down the far side, there is a traffic light controlled crossing, and when we go up the road beyond the bridge, we have a lane all to ourselves. Now we could take this slip road off to the right and draw in just a little bit further on. If we turn right, you can see this. You can do a left-hand turn, and that will take us about 20 metres away from the road and then come back. The alternative is to just turn right here, which is what we're doing. You can see the slip road coming in from the right and going left, and left again up to the traffic controlled pedestrian crossing, and we count as pedestrians. If you come up here, the press button, which is normally on the traffic light, isn't there, but it's bolted onto the wire, and we're just going to turn right and see how well they're looking after us. I think that's pretty good. There's only 2 lanes, so they've given 1 lane to push bikes. That's jolly good, in fact. And there's no cars coming through because we had right of way because of the traffic light behind us. Okay, we're going to stop at London Circuit because from London Circuit you can turn right, east or left to go west, and there are excellent routes to go in either direction to enter the city centre from the north. So we have a slip road coming in. You could go straight ahead, but I'm going to follow the footpath. And we'll stop on the other side of London Circuit, which is protected by Jersey barriers. We'll just have a quick look at what we've got. That's what we have now. You can go straight ahead, but there's quite a lot of traffic. Alternatively, if we look right, this path, there's a pedestrian crossing, traffic control pedestrian crossing to the right, and that takes you straight into the east side. Or you can turn left, and there's a 5 or 10 metre wide cycling and pedestrian crossing that takes you to Edinburgh Avenue. And that's all we have time for. Thank you very much. Cheerio.